I'm Alessandra Barrett, Special Projects Editor for the Journal of Commerce, and I'm at our 14th annual TPM conference in Long Beach. I'm joined by Randy Bayles, Director of International Intermodal for Norfolk Southern. Thanks for speaking with me today, Randy.
Good morning, Alessandra. Glad to be here.
What are your thoughts on the uncertainty with West Coast labor?
Well, that's probably one of the hottest topics at TPM this year. There's a lot of discussion about it. You know, we look back to 2003, the last time there was a big labor disruption on the West Coast, and that was really when we saw the shifting of cargo that traditionally came in through the West Coast ports start making its way to East Coast ports that shippers wanted to diversify. So it's going to be really interesting this go round. What's going to happen? Will freight transfer?
What's Norfolk Southern doing to prepare for these cargo shifts?
Well, prior to 2003, 70% of our international traffic touched a West Coast ports. So at that time, our service was all about speed and how we interchange with the Western railroads to get traffic onto our network in the East. The West Coast labor shortage caused a lot of traffic to start moving to East Coast ports. So our focus then had to become, how do we provide capacity to get those containers out of the port and into the interior of the country? So from 2003 to today, shift forward, now about 60% of our traffic comes in through the East Coast ports as opposed to the West Coast ports. So speed is still important for those containers that come in through the West Coast ports. So we've worked a lot with projects such as the Meridian Speedway, which is the most direct route for traffic coming off the West Coast to southeastern points. So we took about 150 miles off of that route, which equated to a day of service taken off of transcontinental shipments.
Some of the East Coast ports have been severely impacted by the rough winter we're having, and there are potential labor shortages on the horizon. What are you doing to prepare to help the shippers using these ports meet their needs?
Well, as I said before, now there's about 60 to 65% of our traffic, international traffic, that comes in through East Coast ports. So we've been preparing for this. We've been adding capacity to our network through the eastern ports. We have the Heartland Corridor, which added a lot of capacity between the ports of Norfolk into the Midwest points, adding capacity, taking time out of the schedules. So we've been concentrating on adding more points for all the ports on the East Coast. But one of the focus that we've had of late is more short-haul intermodal. That would be those shipments that would be less than 500 miles. We think there's a need for that. It can help with congestion around the ports and the highways connecting the ports. You mentioned the driver shortages that we're going to face at some point. So, you know, if we can get those containers on the rail off the highway, let us do that heavy lifting to the inland point. I think we can provide a service to the shippers. We just opened the South Carolina Inland Port. It's a joint venture with Norfolk Southern and the state of South Carolina, and it's less than a 300-mile length of haul, and it's overnight shipping, and that was really designed to get trucks off the highway in that market. So we're looking at other opportunities up and down the East Coast where we can add value to the shippers coming through East Coast ports.
Great. Thanks for speaking with me today, Randy.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Randy Bayles, Director of International Intermodal for Norfolk Southern.